Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Switch It Up Show. My name's Glenn and I will be hosting this episode, but luckily I am joined by my wonderful dear friend, Mr. Setrav.
That's me.
I'm like, you got entrance music now?
I was doing the Ninja Turtles a little bit. I've been thinking about it lately.
That was the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, when Michelangelo introduces himself to April O'Neil first time, he's like,
I never realized this.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to mull this over as I let these sweet beats ride. Gucci, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to check out the links in the show notes if you are into that music, and hopefully you're going to be into these games. Mr. Trav, I see you adjusting your camera over there. You're like flexing, stretching. Are you ready for the first review on the show today?
That's right. I may be. I was prepping myself physically, mentally, having to get myself as switched up as I could be for
great
kickoff to the latest expansion-packed episode of our show.
Wonderful. Wonderful, my man. Well, you know, spring has sprung, and the first title keeps with that. It is Ghost Sweeper, available on the Nintendo eShop right now for the low price of $4.99. Pick up yourself 25 gold points. They call it gold points, but they're clearly coins. They're coins.
Very clearly a coin.
Yeah, I don't understand them. But, see, I don't know if you tuned into the last episode of the Switch It Up Show. I hope you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, the Google Podcast. There's a whole bunch of different other places. Overcast, we're everywhere. We're all over, no matter where you're listening to. I hope you're listening. But if you checked out the last episode, there was little to no synopsis for my game, Disaster Report 4. Okay, I had to reach out and get supplemental material. But sit back and relax, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a whole book here for Ghost Sweeper. Amazing classic game in a modern view. Solomon's Key inspired game with many add-on. Should be add-ons, but hey. After many centuries, the Dark Lord is resurrected from his ashes, coming back to his castle and cursing? Yes, cursing the lands all around. Look like cruising. Many ghosts and the undead wanderer freely haunt every place, giving to the people only one option: escape. But when the hopes seem to fade away, usually the heroes appear. The Ghost Sweepers are here, ready to kick out some clumsy monsters. Prepare yourself to face the most fun army of darkness ever seen. Ooh, I should pay some royalties for that. Rounding ghosts, laughing pumpkins, creaking skeletons, and many other weird creatures are waiting for you. You will explore 8 different zones, from the dark forest to the evil lord lair, passing through the haunted villages and graveyards. Each zone have many level and many secret levels. They're struggling. If you manage to find all the secrets, the gates to a hidden zone will be opened as reward. Many items, cartoon graphics, and many fun details. Gameplay that mixes action and puzzle. You can count on your agility and quickness, or maybe plan a perfect strategy and avoid any risk is all up to you. Choose the Ghost Sweeper who fit more with your playstyle, or maybe more appropriate for a specific stage. Look everywhere in search of treasures and use those treasures to buy useful items in the shop. Are you smart and skilled enough to defeat the Dark Lord and maybe steal all his gold? Like 6 exclamation points and 3 question marks? Ghost Sweeper has 8 different worlds. This is the best. 2 hidden worlds, 8 levels for each world, hidden levels, and 2 different heroes. 1 player, action, adventure, puzzle, platformer. 73 megabytes. Available now. This game is light. This is a light fare, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it the dollar store Ghostbusters?
No, not really. I mean, not really. This is a very fun, like, cute kids game. This is a game for a child. No offense.
Did you
if you're-
have your child play this game?
Not yet. This is definitely something I want him to check out because I think he'll
What's
get into
the range?
There's really not. It's a ghost game, but it's not spooky. It's spooky in like an adorable way.
Okay.
So there's definitely nothing scary. All the ghosts have smiles and stuff like that on their faces. Like there's nothing. They call it like a Solomon's Key style game. It's got a very very pretty Super Nintendo looking graphics to it. Super colorful. But basically, you're going through each level. Each level is its own little puzzle. It's a like 2D, like maybe side scroller. The levels aren't that big. And you're going through these different little levels, going through kind of like doing platforming and collecting gold, coins, diamonds, and stuff like that. And then you have to pick a key to get to the door at the level. And it's all kind of almost takes place on one screen. Some levels are a little bigger than others, but for the most part, you're just like going from point A to point B to get the key to move on to the next level. So it's very simplistic, but it looks really cool. The graphics are really neat. The enemies are cute and like cuddly, despite the fact that they're all monsters. And this is definitely a game that I feel like a kid would be able to get into. This is like a good first like video game, I feel like, to check out. Because the controls are pretty on point. Nothing's really difficult. You're really pretty much, for the most part, just jumping or using like the attack slash like break blocks. It's really all about being able to break these blocks so you can get into other areas and like create these blocks so you can build to be able to traverse the level and go over holes and stuff like that. So there's really not a lot going on in terms of what you need to do in order to progress, so the difficulty isn't really necessarily there. You do kind of once in a while have to take a step back, look at the level, and figure out, like, especially if you want everything, like what the best way in order to do that is, because since there's not like a lot of attack options, it becomes more about negotiating the the level and the situation in front of you. But the game's only $4.99 on the eShop. I think it's fun if you have like a younger child. They definitely, I feel like, would get into this, and for $5 you could definitely do worse. I'm gonna give this game a 3.5 out of 5. That is a Ghost Sweeper, available now on the eShop. I do feel like this should be. We'll do a little research as Mr. Trav gets ready for his thing, because I feel like this should be an iOS game, to be honest, and that's not taking anything away from it or anything like that. It just that's what it feels like. It feels like it's an iOS game.
It feels very iOS. Were there touch screen abilities on this game?
No.
I may venture to say that it wouldn't be, but who knows? Who's to say? But let me tell you what I'm going to say about Blind Men. Ladies and gentlemen, for the purposes of my review, I did do this on the PS4. However, it is also available on the Nintendo Switch for the same low price of $4.99. It is from our friends over at Retaliaca Games, and the PlayStation Store description is: as the nephew of a retired supervillain, there's nothing Keegan wants more than to become one himself. And what better way than to join the League of Evil? All he needs to do is commit a crime to complete his application. Unfortunately, Keegan soon finds himself in more trouble than he could have ever imagined when his plans are interrupted by a couple of spies from opposing agencies. Pick choices that drastically change the story. Will Keegan's plans be thwarted or allow him to be successful? Features 2 romanceable characters, multiple different endings depending on your choices. Keep the game as a cliche-filled parody, or turn it into a straight spy adventure. Original catchy soundtrack. The cross-buy product allows you to download both PS4 and PS Vita versions. It is very much a visual novel, ladies and gentlemen. I spent a solid 45 minutes reading through the first chapter and going through the first series of choices that you can make as you take Keegan and get him to be a supervillain and impress his uncle, the best supervillain in the world. The game is surprisingly silly. You play as this dude and you romance 2 other dudes. I somehow found myself romancing the American James Bond-ish looking type of guy. You could also try to romance the very a Russian spy, Soviet operative type who has like a scar, which, hot. The choices are very, very different. And the story plays out in long and different ways, depending on the choices you make. For example, if you click on the link down here in our show notes, you'll be able to see that I chose to try to kidnap this professor type as opposed to trying to hoist this diamond. If I did choose the diamond, which I went back and did, I wound up sort of having more of an opportunity to romance this Russian type guy who's very gruff. But I went and did the professor and wound up eventually absconding with the James Bond dressed American that I gave a very thick Texas accent to. He was a dream. And it was a dream kind of playing this game, ladies and gentlemen. Because there's not much game to it, not much game at all. You get maybe like 2 or 3 choices per chapter, I want to say. But it is a solid story that you're reading through. And for that price, it's pretty fun. And the replayability is actually there. You do have an option to sort of go through and look at the bits of story that you've had before or that you unlocked. And it's, like I said, it's a surprisingly silly time, at least the way I did it all. I'm sure I could have read it with a much more serious tone, but I had it be pretty fun. And because of that, I had a lot of fun, and I was getting a fine amount of trophies along the way. So because of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, combined with the great soundtrack and the fine-looking sort of anime images, I am going to give Blind Men, the PS4, a 4 out of 5.
A little carried away with the music dial right there.
You did, I heard. I felt it in my teeth.
That's right, my man. All right, well, that's a good score. Nothing to sneeze at there.
It's a fun visual novel. The price for the amount of game that you're getting, like it's going to take you a long time to read through all this story, but it's like fun. Like I legitimately was enjoying my time with it. But it's sort of the same thing that you said on the last show, where you were playing a visual novel and you just wish that there was voice acting. I feel like there was enough here that it would have been great to hear some voice acting, and for as much as they put in here, a solid $15, I wouldn't have minded paying something like that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully you out there, the people, enjoyed the show. Oh God, this is a good transition, but it's sad. If you didn't enjoy the show, luckily here on the network we have a multitude of other things for you to listen to, and I suppose you could always switch it up.